Hello, friends. Today I want to talk about something which could be considered more like a socio political cultural issue concerning India. You're all aware of the fact that a few days back, on the 5th of August, the government has come with a very daring decision to revoke Article 370 and take certain very definitive steps towards restoration of both normal democratic conditions and creating parity between Jammu and Kashmir and the rest of the country to have the same kind of laws. As much as I personally feel a lot elated about the decision, feel very, very good and proud about a decisive, strong government acting based on clarity, conviction, and courage. At the same time, I'm carrying with me certain concerns which I think all of us as Indians need to kind of hold in our mind. And the first thing that I would talk about is for us to have the right balanced perspective about people. If you ask me what would be my biggest dream related to the Indian socio-political system, my first statement would be, I wish and I pray and I deeply, deeply, eagerly look for that time, that state when Muslims and Hindus clearly recognize that we have no conflict fundamentally with each other. Both of our belief systems about God, about the Almighty, at the fundamental level are so identical, so much the same, that the Islamist talks about that all prevailing, the holy, majestic Allah, who has no form, who has no definitions, who has no objective reality, who is unseen, but who is the creator of everything that we see, of every form, of this whole universe, and everything that is contained in. And this beautiful description of the creator, of the Almighty, want to call it God, is so beautifully corroborated in the Vedantic thought. And you can read this in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says to Arjuna, saying that different people, depending upon their perspective of life and maturity, worship different ways. The human being who is strongly attached to the rusticness and reality of the earth and the stone and the green, he worships things made out of the stone and the earth and the greens. That human being who strongly believes only in the human form and structure, he ends up worshipping the human forms. One whose fascination is with avatars and reincarnations, he worships those avatars and reincarnations and those messiahs of the world. One who believes that there is that another world existing and there are gods over there and devatas over there, they choose to worship those gods and those devatas. My original existence is as the undefined, nameless, formless, nirguna, without any characteristics. That pure source, that pure energy, which has all the capability to create everything in this universe, but who by itself cannot be identified or known. When there is such an amazing alignment of thoughts at a fundamental level, why should this living reality for us be different? So when issues of this kind come, there's almost a kind of a emotional, intellectual sharpness which comes and says, yeah, they and us. My dear friends, let's first of all recognize this truth. There are no they versus us. We are all one. When we say we are Indians, from today, let's say we are Indians with all our Kashmiri brethren. As much as I respect a Tamilian, a Malayali, a Maratha, I respect and love my Kashmiri brethren. Then you have this crowd who start oversimplifying, generalizing, and sometimes talking about some crass things like, now you can buy a plot in Kashmir. And suddenly the whole thing gets reduced to some kind of a personal advantage of a particular kind, reduced to some individualistic kind of gain. Rather than looking at this from a holistic integration, not just in terms of space or land, but a holistic integration with the spirit of being India, I think we should be responsible and just stop making these pot-shot comments about the situation. And there's one thing that we need to be very, very, very careful about, and that's about the wily politicians. So there are those people who are saying that there's a murder of the constitution, that there's a burying of whatever is a state's individual right, and asking these fabulous questions like, how can you guarantee that this will not happen in Tamil Nadu, this will not happen in Maharashtra? And the answer is, of course, such a thing should happen in Tamil Nadu or should happen in Maharashtra if the kind of condition that has prevailed in Kashmir over the last many, many decades start prevailing in any of our states, even for a period of a month or two. I think from now, we should act proactively, quickly, and put an end to all kinds of extremism, separatist attempts, and all those kind of endeavors to break this country. So there's no question at all, because these are exceptional decisions. In exceptional situations, you don't take ordinary decisions. So this whole lot of politicians who are going jingo bango about this whole thing, I think let's not fall prey to them. Exceptions need exceptional treatment, and there's no point in making noise about an exceptional act that had to be undertaken. The other important point for us to ponder about is the maturity that is seen, for example, in the Member of Parliament from Ladakh. And he asked such fundamental questions. He asked other MPs, do you know what is my ground reality? Do you know what is the state of affairs out there? So I think it's very necessary for all of us to have the same sensitivity. Do we actually make statements after deeply understanding the ground realities? Or do we all tend to be armchair critics making observations and comments? You know what? Rushing through Kashmir. The easiest stance in life is to become an armchair critic. And unfortunately, 90% of the Indians choose to do that. And I think we need to stop that. Don't oversimplify and start making some radical, judgmental statements about the people of Kashmir, branding all of them together, dismissing all of them together. Remember one more important thing, my dear friends. Yatha Raja Tata Praja. Just as the king is, so are the subjects. It's a very beautiful statement. In Tamil, they say, Arasan Yavadi, Makkal Avadi. If Kashmir in the last few decades has turned out to be what it is, that's because of the leadership that you have been having in that state and in this country for a long, long time. Let's not just blame the people. If any one of us is given an opportunity in life, all of us want to live a positive, proactive, meaningful, and a happy life. But if our social system and the socio-political system is manipulated by some wily politicians, then very soon the same thing becomes a living culture. So let's not for a moment sit in judgment about the people of Kashmir. I'm very sure and I'm very confident, I'm looking forward to this complete transformation happening even at a societal level. Because once your government is principled, caring, proactive, and development-oriented, I think there is every opportunity for these subjects, the public also to become the same. A last point. I'm not a great fan of cricket, but this jingoism that happens where you convert even a cricket match into some kind of a war between two countries, and this whole perspective of saying, yeah, we have won and they have lost, kind of this nonsense that keeps happening. And looking at many of these things from that pure win-lose kind of a mindset. And once you're won, suddenly feeling omnipotent and as if nothing can go wrong with you. And if you have lost, suddenly feeling very, very demeaned, devalued, and feeling the sense of shame, like, kind of whole life has come to some kind of an end. This sense of imposing an uncalled for imagery of win and lose, both individually and collectively, tends to happen. Let's get it very clear. There is no winning and losing about the Kashmiris or the Indians. First of all, Kashmiris are Indians. Let's not even start using a separate kind of a terminology anymore. It's like this beautiful story that I heard about the old man who was watching the football game. When the red jersey team was scoring the goals, the old man was jumping and saying, wow, 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 wow. So this youngster was sitting next to him and he thought, okay, the old man is a supporter of the red jersey. Then suddenly the blue jersey team, they started scoring and the old man kept on jumping and saying, wow, wow, wow. And so the young man looked at him and said, hey, now he's behaving like the blue jersey kind of fan and supporter. So the old man kept on doing for the red sometimes, for the blue sometimes, for the red. So when the match got over, this young man was so irritated and he stopped that old man and said, hey, old man, make up your mind. Are you in support of the red team? Are you in support of the blue team? The old man patted the youngster on his back and said something beautiful. He said, I'm neither a supporter of the blue team nor a supporter of the red jersey team. I'm the supporter of the game of football. My dear friends, it's not a game where the rest of India is winning or the Kashmiris are winning. It's all about this great nation, our Bharat, evolving and winning its struggle of becoming a fabulous country, great nation all by itself. Jai Hind.